Hello again. Another one that might be a bit of a controversial one, like the Russell Brand thing from last week. That's all gone a bit quiet now, hasn't it? That's a bit strange. But what I'm going to talk about today is something that Creaky had a go at. I didn't have a go at. He talked about a while ago, and I don't think he went down that well. But I'm going to talk about the Just Stop Oil protesters because I have never. What's the best way to put it? I think they're bloody idiots. Not because of what they're protesting about. Let me make this absolutely clear. I agree that this world, the planet we live on, and the planet my two sons are growing up into, is very quickly turning into hell in a handbasket, I think is the expression. Obviously, since records began, global annual temperatures have risen to unprecedented levels. There are some who think that it's all cyclical and it will happen again, or it will cool down again and it will warm up again. No, this is completely unprecedented and we need to do something about it. However, walking slowly in a road, stopping people getting to hospital appointments, isn't the way to go around it. Throwing red paint around flowers at the Chelsea Flower Show isn't the way to go around it. Climbing on snooker tables and throwing red paint about and running on tennis courts and throwing, what was it, confetti, isn't the way to go around it. Now, the reason I bring this up is because a chap called Dale Vince was one of their most prolific supporters, funders as well. He gave them £340,000 in donations to support their cause since inception. And the reason he did this was because he supported their goal of protesting against new contracts being signed for oil drilling in the North Sea or thereabouts, wherever really. The only problem was with protesting about that was it's fine if you want to protest about it, but you need to aim your protest at the correct people. Now, the people you needed to correct your, if anybody's listening from Just Stop Oil, I very much doubt it, the people you needed to direct your ire and direct your protest at were the people who had the pen in their hand to sign those contracts. And the people who had the pen in their hands to sign their contracts very rarely drove a saloon along the A32 while you walked slowly in front of them. They were flown around in private jets. And this week they were flown to Manchester to tell Manchester they won't get in the second leg of the HS2 anymore. Well done them. If you honestly thought that anything that you did, all these protests, all these displays, were going to be in any way effective or would in any way dissuade multi-millionaires, the multi-millionaire who's currently running this country, and other multi-millionaires to stop what they're doing or think about what he's doing, you're even more naive and out of touch than I thought you were. Now I'm going to go over a couple of things. It shouldn't be too long, but I'll go over a couple of things. For me, a working class gentleman, working class all my life, 9 to 5, well 7:30 till 5 o'clock, and every third Saturday 8 till 12. We need to get to work in the morning. We need to pay our wages. We need to earn our wages so we can pay our bills, so we can put food on the table. There are some people, a lot of self-employed people, especially around the London area, who you disrupted. They could not get the food on the table. They could not pay their bills because if you're self-employed, you're all paid by the hour. And if you're stuck in traffic for 2 hours, you're not earning money.
People are unable to pay their bills.
People are unable to drive. People can pay their bills if they can get to work. Pay their bills if they can't get to work, you mongrel.
And when you have footage of women shouting at the protesters saying, I need to get my unwell child to hospital for an appointment, and them just ignoring her, displays a level of arrogance and self-importance that could be levelled at those who are members of a cult. Now, I don't use that word flippantly, but if you look at the characteristics of some behaviours of certain groups that are currently popular in the world at the moment, Trump supporters notwithstanding, you can certainly identify some of their traits in these people. For example, the cult, from Wikipedia, just a couple of bits here, excessively controls its members, requiring unwavering devotion to a set of beliefs and practices which are considered deviant. This term is also used for new religious movement or other social group which is defined by its unusual religious, spiritual, philosophical beliefs and rituals. So probably a bit of a stretch to call it a cult, but you can see where I'm going. Now, a couple of the exercises that they did was, one of them was jumping on a snooker table and throwing some paddle around. Now, obviously, the point of a protest is to get people on side. It's to show them how convicted you are of your ideals, and that by doing these simple acts, you'll get people to empathise with you and join your cause. Somebody please explain to me how jumping on a snooker table and throwing orange paint powder around is going to get anyone on your cause when you're sat in the middle of the Poxy Crucible and everybody's there to watch the snooker. Ditto with the Chelsea Flower Show. You're not going to get anybody on side by throwing paint over flowers which people have spent years lovingly cultivating for that display. Who do you think you're kidding? I'm going to touch on one, but then I'll go to the main one. The second one, or the last one I'm going to talk about that isn't the road protest, is very recently, I think it was this last week, somebody climbed on stage at the end of a production of Les Miserables in London, got out a big Just Stop Oil banner, and caused the entire theatre to be evacuated. Now, I love the theatre. Max loves the theatre.
Yes.
Thank you. What have we been to see so far?
Back to the Future, Book of Mormon, and
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
What was the best?
Book of Mormon.
Book of Mormon second.
Harry Potter.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have said Back to the Future. I wasn't that impressed with it. Anyway, theatre reviews notwithstanding. So, for some people, I've been to the theatre several times over the last year and a half. It's actually quite affordable for me because my sons have the difficulties they do, ADHD, autism. We get very highly discounted tickets. We get discounted rail travel. It can cost us less than £100 for all three of us, myself, Max and Luke, to go to the theatre. And then, spending money and food and things like that, about 100, 250, £200. It's okay, we can do it every now and again, it's fine. For a lot of people, going out to the theatre is probably a once in a lifetime, once a year, once every 5 years, if that. You're going out to the theatre, you want to, be held to this spectacle of performing, and these guys work so hard on stage. And Les Miserables, you've probably seen the film more than you have the stage production. It's an amazingly emotive piece of work. It was Victor Hugo, I think, wrote it, based on the book by Victor Hugo, sorry. To get to the end, can you hear the people sing? We are the songs of angry men. And some pervert gets up on stage with a Just Stop Oil flag. Join our rebellion. Honestly, it's nil from the young ones. That's how pathetic it is. And because of actions like this, Dale Vince has decided to stop giving them money because everything they're doing is counterproductive. It's always been counterproductive. He says it's only just started to become that way. It has always been a self-defeating enterprise. Again, I would love to emphasise as much as I can, I agree with what they're going on about. I just don't believe the way they're going about it. People will go to see snooker, I'm going to join your cause if you stop the snooker game. People who go to see the tennis, I'm going to join your cause if you stop the tennis. People who go to the Chelsea Flower Show, I'm going to join your cause if you destroy the flowers. People who go to the theatre, I'm going to join your cause when you make the bloody building get evacuated because you're a massive security threat. Point of order, every time we go to the theatre, our bags are searched. How did they get that banner in? That's what I want to know. So, Just Stop Oil, funded privately by a person who's decided they've gone a bit too far. Now, a couple of things. You've probably seen the videos of how frustrated some drivers can be, driving through them, driving over them, bumping them out of the way. I just saw one today where the actions of the Just Stop Oil protesters on one side of the road caused an accident on the other side of the road where a guy was taking his pregnant missus or pregnant girlfriend, wife, I don't know, to be caused an accident. He came out and was so incensed he punched the guy in the face and then kicked him in the head. Well, scuffed the side of his head with his foot. Reprehensible actions, and in no way justified, but you have to understand the frustration that these people are fermenting in the motoring world, so to speak. A very extreme way of putting it. But so if you're trying to get to work, you're a self-employed driver. I was saying earlier, you can't earn your money. You're 2 hours out of pocket, and that for a self-employed builder, who I know a lot of personally, that is a lot of money. In my non-digital media creation world, as you probably guessed, I do work for a building supplies firm. We sell and supply and deliver building materials like bricks, blocks, lintels, anything you like. You want to build a house, I could sell you everything. I could personally sell you everything you need to build a house. I'm going to look some stuff up first, including windows, but I can do that. I can also drive a truck. I can drive up to a 26-ton truck, and I have I'm fully qualified to control a remote control crane. Atlas, Hiab. I think we've got. What have we got at the moment? What the bloody... Oh, HMF crane. Sorry, completely forgot what crane I am. I'm using it at the moment. A HMF crane I can use. So I can get out on the road, and I can deliver the goods. However, even though it's a building firm, it's still a customer service industry. Now, I've been in the customer service industry since 1994, just before I turned 21. That's how old I am. And I did 5.5 years in a hotel. I did 3 years or 2 and a bit years working, filling out vending machines, but still had end customers. And for the last 20 years or so, I've been in this industry, serving customers face to face and delivering out onto site face to face as well. And there's nothing more annoying when we say we're going to deliver something on a certain day, an approximate time. We can't pin a time down because things happen. We can say we're going to get it to you Friday afternoon. If Friday afternoon comes and goes and they haven't got their gear and they can't do it over the weekend, that's their entire weekend ruined. In some cases, a customer will even get subcontractors in or get builders in. So I've been told my building materials are going to be turning up on Friday morning at 8 o'clock, which we never say. Get your builders here, I'll pay you X amount an hour. I don't know what the going rate is. And this stuff doesn't turn up. And why doesn't it turn up? It's because the traffic has been held up by It's because the traffic has been held up by 6 idiots wearing high-vis vests, carrying banners, walking slowly across the road, trying to get everybody on side by ruining their lives. And I don't say that lightly. So we get a phone call in the office saying, "Where's our delivery?" We say to them, "Sorry, you couldn't have your delivery because our driver got stuck in traffic." Let's just say driver was a mile back, couldn't see what was going on, got stuck in traffic. Customer, not my problem. I need my stuff. And that's a bit of a passive-aggressive thing to say, but we get it a lot. And it's not just my industry. It was my previous one as well, or not just my job. It's my previous job as well. The end customer doesn't care about delays. They want their stuff. Now, what that's going to mean is that instead of one truck doing one trip to one site, using all that diesel, making that massive carbon footprint, because of the protesters, they got to do that twice. It's their fault. The CO2 levels will rise on this particular occasion above that truck, so to speak. But it's the same with traffic. These guys are walking slowly. Trucks like myself, if we know we're going to stop for a certain amount of time, we have to turn off our engines. I think it's actually the same for cars as well. If you're just sitting in traffic with your engine idling, you can actually get fined. But these guys are moving slowly, and these cars and vehicles behind are also going to be moving slowly because they want to get somewhere. So those engines are running at low revs, which means they're using excessive petrol, which means they're going to be filling up petrol sooner than they would have normally, meaning there's more demand for petrol, means there's more demand for oil. Do you see how nonsensical and ill thought out all these protests were? Again, I would like to hammer home the point. I get why they're doing it. I just don't agree with how they're doing it, because it was completely wrong. It was poorly thought out. I mean, did it start with Extinction Rebellion, where they were super gluing themselves to the road or concreting themselves to the road? Of course, you're not allowed to hurt them, so you have to do it gently. But a lot of these times, these breakers run off a petrol generator. It's petrol being burned to get them off the road. And they've got to get off the road because you can't be stuck there forever. You starve to death, and that would be a bloody shame. So every step of the way, their little protest is actually increasing the need and demand for fossil fuels, including the high-vis vests they wear and the banners they carry. Because the high-vis vests they wear, I have them myself. They're made of polyester. Polyester is made of petroleum. The vinyl banners they carry, and the paint and the colouring and that, all made of vinyl, another petroleum product. So vinyl, if you didn't know, which is what those banners were made out of, is composed of two simple building blocks: chlorine, based on common salt, and ethylene from crude oil. So not only are they increasing the need for fossil fuels, they're actually supporting the fossil fuel industry by buying high-vis vests and buying these banners. Nothing about their cause ever made sense, because they were targeting the wrong people. They were pissing off the wrong people, inconveniencing the wrong people, and upsetting the wrong people. People missed their parents' funeral, their grandparents' funeral, because they were stuck in traffic. An ambulance got stuck in traffic with the blues and twos going on its way to an emergency, or was on its way to a hospital, because these Herberts were stood in the middle of the road walking slowly because of their self-appointed job, nobody asked them to do, to stop Rishi Sunak from signing any more contracts to drill for North Sea oil. And that's another reason why this chap has decided to stop giving them money, because it was always ever only going to fall on deaf ears. Rishi Sunak doesn't care about you walking along slowly on a dual carriageway. Like I said, he gets flown around in helicopters and private jets. I don't know if the man knows how to drive or how to walk anywhere. He's carried, he is chauffeured, he is flown. He's not the one getting held up on the North Circular by a bunch of high-vis wearing idiots with a self-imposed agenda. Okay, that'll do for that one, another short one. I'd just like to reiterate, in the strongest terms possible, that I do understand the reasons why they were protesting, but they targeted the wrong people, they inconvenienced the wrong people, and it just goes to show that Rishi Sunak signing this 100 million barrels of oil contract, whatever it is, in the North Sea, he honestly didn't give a monkey's about anything they were doing or the people they were inconveniencing.
Friends who are aristocrats, I have friends who are upper class, I have friends who are, working class, but not working class, but...
This is Rishi Sunak. I think the guy's a billionaire. He really honestly doesn't give a toss about the little man, and that includes you guys.
Because we inherited a bunch of formulas from the Labour Party that shoved all the funding into deprived urban areas, then that needed to be undone. I started the work of undoing that.
Okay, so that really will do for that one. Thank you very much for watching if you made it this far. I hope I haven't annoyed anybody. I know, like I said, Creaky did a video and there were a few voices of contention, which is understandable. It's a very emotive subject. But like I say, I've got two sons, both under 20. I'm 50. I'm not long for this world anymore, but my boys have got a planet they've got to grow up in, and I, for one, also agree home is a bloody decent one. But if you're going to do protest, do it properly, or just don't do it at all. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully I will see you next time I see you, and good night.